All right, y'all. I don't know about you, but I'm not in a good mood this morning. I'm not very prepared to do this like I do most Sunday mornings, where I have all my notes written down and I'm going to go through a power ranking system. I'm not going to do any of that. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to recap the Tennessee Georgia game to the best of my ability, and I'm going to talk about 5 SEC teams that I think are going to get into the college football playoffs, or 4 that I know will get in and 1 might get in. But anyway, without further ado. Georgia beat Tennessee 31-17. Tennessee jumped out to a 10-0 lead, and then Georgia proceeded to go on a 31-7 run the rest of the game. Georgia did whatever they wanted through the air. They almost threw for 400 yards. They totaled over 450 yards total. We limited Georgia to about 100 yards rushing, which is not awful. Offensively for us, we ran the ball for over 150 yards, and I thought that gave us a chance at beating Georgia. In my video a couple days ago, I listed several things that Tennessee needed to do if they wanted to win the game. And one of the things I said was Tennessee needed to run the ball for over 150 yards. One of the things that we didn't do in this game, a couple things. Turnover margin. We didn't create any turnovers. They had no turnovers, Georgia did. And that going into this game, they were awful on turnovers. Carson Beck had like 7 interceptions in 3 games. So we didn't create any turnovers. We did not get to Carson Beck at all. He had a picnic lunch back there throwing the football. He just had all day long to do whatever he wanted. And then when he didn't, he just ran for the first down. So Georgia offensively, I did not have that in the cards in this game, that they were going to just do whatever they wanted offensively, and they did. So tough game. I still think Tennessee has got a really good chance at getting into the college football playoffs, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a second. I knew Georgia had their backs against the wall, and when they were going to play their best game. And give kudos to them. Georgia played a good game. It was a horribly officiated game as well. Just absolutely awful officiating from the SEC officials. That needs to be. I mean, it's awful. I know you Georgia fans probably tuning into this probably disagree. Oh, I'm complaining or whatever. And I'm not saying that is the reason we lost. I mean, Tennessee didn't do things to win this game. I get it. I'm not. But officiating has to be a lot better than it was last night. But getting that out of the way. So let's talk about the college football playoffs. And so there are 4 teams, I think, that are entrenched unless they do something really stupid the remaining part of the way, and I don't see it happening. I think they're in, okay? The first team I think is going to be in, unless something weird happens, is Texas. Texas only has 1 loss. They have benefited having a schedule that's very easy and it's been very manageable. They got A&M at the end of the year, I think even if they lose to A&M, they're probably in. But more than likely, I don't know who wins that game. But I still think Texas, more than likely, the odds are in their favor that they're going to get into the college football playoffs. So Texas, I've got in. The second team is Alabama. Alabama has 2 losses, but they got the best resume of all the SEC teams that have 2 losses by far. I think they've got 4 ranked wins right now, and that's far more than anybody else in the SEC right now. Playing really good ball. They just blew LSU out a couple weeks ago, blew out Mercer yesterday. Jalen Milroe seems to be playing his best ball right now. So Alabama would be the second team. Third team's Ole Miss. Now, Ole Miss, they may not have the best resume, but they are playing the best football right now. They are blowing everybody out. They put up like over 60 points against Arkansas about 3 weeks ago, and then blew out Georgia, and it was a complete game, complimentary football game where they dominated Georgia offensively, defensively, the whole 9 yards. Ole Miss is a team you don't want to play right now. They've got 2 All-American receivers. They've got a defensive line and linebackers that will get after you, and you got about 2 seconds to throw the football or you're going to get sacked. That defensive line is nasty for Ole Miss. So I think Ole Miss is squarely in unless something weird happens. They got like Mississippi State, and I don't know who else they play, but Ole Miss shouldn't have any issue running the table and finishing 10-2. That'll be 3 teams in. The fourth team's Georgia. I think Georgia's in now too. Now they have a good resume as well, kind of like Alabama. Now Georgia has wins over Texas, at Texas, the number one Texas team at the time, and they beat Tennessee, who was number 7 in the country. So that's 2 top 10 wins that they've got on their record. And I think they got Georgia Tech. I don't know who else they've got, but they should win those games. If Georgia takes care of business, they're in, no doubt. So there's 4 teams I think that are squarely in. Now, there's a couple teams here that are kind of looking in. I'll go first with A&M. A&M has a path to get in still. They've got 3 losses, but if somehow they can beat Texas, there is a way they could get into the SEC championship game. If they win the SEC championship game, I can see them, then they would get into the playoffs, but that's very far-fetched. So I don't think A&M gets in. Tennessee now, I would probably put Tennessee's chances of getting in about 55 to 60% getting in. BYU losing last night helped a ton. I think we need more help for me to be more comfortable about us getting in. I think we need Notre Dame to lose, or Boise State, or something like that. Even maybe another BYU loss. But I think Tennessee at the end of the day will get in, but I'm not confident in saying that. So I still think, Vol fans, we have a chance to get into the college football playoffs. A couple other positive things before I leave here, and I may have discussed it earlier, but Nico's playing better. I was really impressed with how he played and how he led our team. And this dude just come off a concussion. I thought he left his heart out there on the field. I thought he played well. Dylan Sampson played well. I thought our kicker and our punter, they played well. Special teams was fine. Boo Carter, what a great return from him. He is going to be a superstar. Defensively, just awful, horrendous. I thought our offense gave us the opportunity to win this game for the most part, but the defense just they couldn't get off the field, and they just let Carson Beck throw all over the place. So when you throw the ball for almost 400 yards, more than likely you're going to lose the game. And not creating turnovers either on Georgia was also very detrimental to us trying to win this game. So anyway, guys, that's just my recap of the Tennessee game and what I think the playoffs will look as of right now and who I think will get in, and I'll talk to you guys later.